All right, I've heard you say some interesting things about culture change. And we got some, we got 10 new head coaches in football. We got some new quarterbacks. And everybody, I think everybody always goes, well, they got a new quarterback. Things are going to change. And I know you don't feel that way. And I want you to kind of rattle off why.
Yeah, I know we're going to talk about these coaches tonight when we do the game.
Right.
And Doug Peterson, boy, he's got the #1 pick. And what's he going to do with Trevor Lawrence? And can Josh McDaniels get Derek Carr to the next level?
Yeah.
And everybody thinks they can, and their track record says they can. But to me, and I tell owners this all the time, that's not why you hired the head coach. Yeah, sure, he's going to do that, and he needs to do that. But you may not win, even if he gets the quarterback playing well, if you don't build everything else around it and change things around. I came to Tampa. We had Trent Dilfer. He was the 6th pick in the draft. Oh, we got to fix Dilfer. You got to fix Dilfer. No, we've got to fix what's been going on here.
Yeah.
So I asked the team, I said, everybody come in and see me. When you come in, I want to know why you think we haven't been winning. Mm-hmm. Most guys came in, they had 2 or 3 things. Hardy Nickerson had 6 pages of yellow legal pad. What had been going on? Okay, I'll take all this into consideration. But that's what you have to change. You had to get guys feeling like they wanted to be there. Hardy said, hey, we have orange tops and white pants, and then we have white tops and orange pants. He said, one day these fools try to put us out there in all orange. I said, I'm not going out there. I said, okay, we can fix that.
Yeah, that's easy to fix.
That's easy.
Yeah.
But now some of the other things culturally, we got to change. Warren Sapp, 26 years later, remembers my first speech.
That's what I want to say. What do you do your first speech to a team to make that mark?
I said the same thing that Coach Knoll told me my first day in the NFL. Hey, don't put your whole life into football. We're going to win. We're going to get to the Super Bowl, but we've got to live life the right way. And then I told my guys, I said, hey, we've got to set the tone. We've got to be role models for the young kids. I've got boys who look up to you guys. We've got to do things the right way. So here, I'm going to give you 5 things that will keep you out of the USA Today. And if you have a problem, you get in trouble, and none of these 5 things are there, I'll back you up. But if you'll avoid these things, we'll avoid 90% of the problems. After 12 o'clock. Don't
home.
Be out there. Be home.
Right.
Like Richard Pryor used to say, you can be the worst guy in the world. If you go home at 11, nobody will know. So
it's a great line.
Come home. Be home before 12 o'clock. Don't drive 20 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah, Marquise Hollywood Brown. Right.
Don't drive over the speed limit.
Right.
Very easy.
Right.
If you have a gun, I'm not going to tell you to not carry a gun, but guns cause problems. Drugs and alcohol. Okay. If they're illegal, don't do it.
Yeah.
Alcohol, you got to make good decisions. If you drink, I'd prefer you to drink at home. Don't drink out where everybody's going to say, I saw 20 Buccaneers. You might be the only guy there, but when it gets back to me, the whole team was there, and they were all drinking all night, even though you only had 1 drink.
Yep.
So avoid that. And then the last one is women you don't know well enough. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
But I said, you know what? You look at any athlete, any NFL player that gets in trouble, 99% chance one of those 5 things is there.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you how to live. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do. But if we want to be a championship team, if you'll avoid those things, we will avoid problems, and we'll come together. And I just heard Warren kind of repeat that to somebody 26 years later.
Warren, I've had a chance to know Warren for a long time. He loves you. And he's like my dad, who always brings up Parcells quotes. He brings up Dungy stuff all the time, too. He's always quoting you that way. So you obviously made a mark on his life. You said it was like halfway through that first year where you felt like the team finally bought in a little bit. And it was like, okay, this guy's onto something.
And I wasn't a guy, Chris, that raised my voice too much. And we'd have situations come up, and I'd try to talk just like this and work them through. So sometimes I think some of the guys weren't really listening, but eventually it got to be, okay, I'll get it. And we were 1-8, and we beat the Raiders in overtime. And then the next week we went out to San Diego, and we won a game that we had gotten behind. And I remember John Lynch telling me, I think this might be the one that turns the corner.
Right.
And eventually we clicked. We won 5 of our last 7. The next year we came out of the gate 5-0, and it was just like
that was that.
It was on.
You changed it. You changed the culture.
But it really was buying into those things. I was telling the story the other day. They used to have golf carts in training camp, and the ball boys would take the guys to the chow hall and take them to the locker room on golf carts. And I looked at that, and I said, Coach Noel would have a fit. I said, no more golf carts, and to show you that we don't need to because of the schedule, I'm walking everywhere we need to go. So I never took a golf cart, never took a ride. I walked everywhere. And I think when the guys saw me walking,
they were like,
okay,
we got to walk too.
I'm not going to let Coach outdo me.
Yeah, right.
And then that became our mantra. We practice with our shirts tucked in. We walk everywhere. We're going to blue collar you to death. Right. And that's how we're going to win. And then it became a source of pride for those guys.
Right. Yeah, it was one of the greatest defenses ever. I know that, and you were certainly the architect of it. And I got there the year after they won the Super Bowl, and of course that was your team. I know John Gruden was there and all that, but man, that was a special cast of characters you had on the defensive side of the ball for sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we drafted some good high quality guys, and you have John Lynch and Rondé Barber and Derek Brooks and Shelton Quarles in the huddle. You
as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had the same thing on offense. We didn't have probably that star quality player, but the work ethic and the attitude. That's how you win.
Yeah.
That's how you win.
Yep. All right. That's coach coaching right there. All right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.